Trin Currante had been so patient, biding her time as the librarian for the Great Library, waiting to secure the information she needed to reverse what had been done to her. She'd practiced delayed gratification every step of the way toward her recovery and retribution. When she saw the man who remade her, something took over, something she couldn't resist. Now Samuel Jacobs was sitting in front of her, covered in his own blood, more dead than alive in a darkened room that often bobbed up and down since they were on a ship. Trin Currante knew how it felt. That was every day for her. The Savorous Corporation had made her into a machine when she had once been a perfectly functioning magician. And why? According to Alexander Drake, Michelena had an obsession with making monsters. The Finnish billionaire had a company before the Savorous Corporation that made genetically altered werewolves. The place, Olendo Research, had abducted men and turned them into monsters, all because Michelena wanted to see if he could do it, and because he had investors who wanted deadly assassins. The project had gone to hell when the subjects escaped and rebelled. Michelena, in an effort to become the alpha wolf and get his projects back, had dosed himself with the most powerful drug meant to make him a werewolf. It took him over and killed him. Or so they thought. According to Alexander Drake, Michelena wasn't even close to dead, but since his heart wasn't beating, he was issued a death certificate and buried. Bad men have a way of coming back from the dead. In Michelena's case, he clawed up from his grave and returned to the world he wasn't happy in unless he was mutilating something. Trin Currante had to give it to him. Michelena was a survivor. He'd been able to come back from nothing and start the Savorous Corporation, again abducting innocent people, magicians this time, and turn them into cyborgs. He did it to hundreds of them. Why wasn't even the question for Trin Currante. She just wanted to know where this diabolical madman was so she could destroy him and everything he valued. There was no way she was stopping until she brought Michelena down. The man had survived for this long because he knew how to hide and was great at running. However, she had the one person who could lead her to him, his head scientist, Samuel Jacobs. Lowering her face and pressing it into his, she narrowed her eyes, looking into his rimmed with blood. "Tell me where the new Savorous headquarters is." Samuel Jacobs shook his head, his face swelling from the beating he's endured. She grabbed his chin with her metal hand, gripping it so tightly she could feel the bones ready to give way. He didn't even moan, although she knew the pain had to be excruciating. "You realize I'll kill you if you don't tell me, right?" she asked through gritted teeth. Again he shook his head but tried to move his jaw. She released him, but only so he could talk. "There are things worse than death," he said, bubbles of blood spilling from his mouth. She laughed. "Like living your life looking like a freak. No one can understand." Trin Currante motioned to her body. She used to be beautiful with high cheekbones and voluptuous hips. Now her black hair was mostly live wires that danced around her head and bits of metal peeking out from the skin on her face. Samuel Jacobs narrowed his swollen eyes at her. "No, like your entire family being punished if you so much as breathe a word about where the Savorous Corporation or Michelena is located." Trin Currante blew out a breath. So that's how Michelena was maintaining secrecy, of course. If threatened, most would talk. Life was the most precious thing in the world. Family for many trumped that. Hostages would talk if afraid their lives hung in the balance. The one thing that ensured compliance, if they were captured by the enemy, was not to kill them, but threaten their families if they talked. Trin Currante considered threatening to find Samuel Jacobs' family. She'd beat Michelena to it. Jacobs would have to pick Trin Currante if she was the one making the bold threats. She couldn't do it. Innocent people shouldn't have to die for her to take down an evil corporation. That's the way she wanted it anyway. She'd already had to do despicable things to the Dragon Elite, and they hadn't even worked. Which was one reason she was here interrogating the man who'd made her. Alexander Drake had figured out that even if they had the freshly hatched